Hi, and thank you for taking the time to be a part of Poly Role Models. Would you like to?
Thank you for inviting me. It's an honor.
Awesome. Would you like to tell everyone who you are?
Sure. I'm Cathy Vartuli. I run the Intimacy Dojo, which helps people that are shy and awkward get out there and date, have sex, have conversations they would never have, and also for people that want to do marketing that feel shy, like I help them find their voice. And I just love seeing their faces light up when the people who are not normally outspoken see they can make a difference and really be powerful in their world. And I also have a PhD and work at a large semiconductor company on the side.
Okay, nice. All right, how long have you been polyamorous, or how long have you been practicing polyamory?
I
Whichever.
think I've probably been polyamorous my whole life. I just didn't know it.
Okay.
But I was really afraid of it. I think I had kind of confused it with polygamy, and like I thought it was a lot of deviant people running around doing really nefarious things to themselves, which is sometimes true, but it's consensual.
Yeah.
So when I first was people were talking about it, I have a couple of friends that are polyamorous. I'm like, no, not me. I'm monogamous, completely monogamous. But I tell them about my lifestyle, and they're like, you and your partners had, would sleep with other people and do things, like we were kind of monogamous, but, we were not really monogamous. We had a lot of affairs with people consensually most of the time. But as I started hearing more and more, that wasn't scary, and that's why I really love what you're doing here, Kevin.
Oh, thank you.
Normalizing it for people, it's so important because I was just terrified, and I, my dad, I think, was polyamorous as well, but was trying to make a monogamous relationship work, and he was just so unhappy.
Yeah.
Like I love the fact that you're making this accessible to people. It just means so much.
I'm glad. I'm glad it's having any amount of impact.
Yeah, but I think that the more people realize that it doesn't mean anything. Like you get to have poly in your own way, but you're not necessarily limited to what we were kind of brought up with Cinderella and Snow White, and we're kind of indoctrinated with, especially I think as women, with fairy tales, and this is happily ever after, and you never ever want to look at anyone else. And
Yeah.
I think that's useful for people that are monogamous, because even if you're monogamous, that doesn't mean your eyes don't work anymore.
Yeah. You can tailor your monogamy to taste.
Yes, and to your like what you and your partners want to create. And I think that's really powerful.
Yes. All right. Well, what does your current relationship dynamic look like?
So I'm single. I have several lovers,
Okay.
and I'm a free agent. We all get to do what feels good to us, and we talk. My lovers and I will. Anyone I sleep with, I share my relationship status. Right now is free agent, but we get tested regularly. We share that status with each other, any updates, so that we're very clear about what's happening. We all practice safer sex, and that is there's a lot of different ways people practice that, but we share what we're doing, so we all feel safe. And if there's been any slips or condom breaks or anything, we share that. So we're all making informed decisions when we sleep with each other.
Okay.
I'm open to a romantic relationship, but with many or one person, but I haven't really right now. I'm not finding anyone that makes me like go, I want to have you in my home all the time. And so I love that I'm getting a lot of my needs met and meeting really wonderful people and having fun in the meantime. I'm not just kind of waiting for that Mr. or Ms. Right to show up.
Gotcha. All right. What aspect of polyamory do you excel at?
I think I'm really good at communication, and that's not something I was always good at. I love that a lot of people that are poly, and not all, but a lot of people really research like how to deal with jealousy, how to talk about things in different ways, much more than just the sitcoms we see on TV, where the main job is to blame each other, and whoever does a better job wins, and the other person is like the beaten down person that's going to do what the stronger person guilted them into doing.
Yeah.
That's not the kind of relationship I want at all, and I really love that there's some amazing skill sets in the polyamory community in general, where people are like, hey, that doesn't feel like a yes to me, but how about this? Or like discussing and finding the win-wins where people can be really happy, and no one's feeling resentful or like, oh, really, I have to. It's like if one of my lovers doesn't want to go to an event, another might, and if none of them do, I can go by myself, and that's really powerful.
Yeah, I love it. What aspect of polyamory do you struggle with?
I think the jealousy sometimes still gets me because I have an abuse history, so I tend to have a fear that people are going to be not care about me or not be gentle with me.
Yeah.
And when I see them being very kind to someone else, especially if we're not as close, if we're having a rough time,
Yeah.
and I see them giving kindness to someone else that they're not giving to me at the time, I'm like, my fears can come up.
Yeah.
And I feel that old lack, there's not enough caring in the world, can come up really strongly.
Yeah, I understand that. So what do you do to address that kind of struggle?
I have a circle of support. I have friends I can go to who remind me they love me. I have a business with emotional freedom techniques. I don't know if you've heard of it. You tap on acupressure points, and it helps release some of the old beliefs we have.
Okay.
So I do a lot of that. And then part of it is just realizing that humans, relationships don't mean we're going to be blissfully happy. Like, we really are taught that. We find Prince or Prince Charming, we're going to ride off into the sunset, no one's ever going to be sad or upset again, and that's bullshit.
Yeah.
Are we allowed to swear on here?
Yeah, do your thing.
Okay. So we do, humans, sometimes we step on each other's toes. The relationship is like dancing, and we're not always going to get it perfect, and there's going to be times when one of us hurts, that doesn't, or both of us hurt, and that doesn't mean that that the relationship's doomed or we're bad people or anything's wrong. It's just part of being human.
Yeah. All right. And I think you sort of answered this earlier, but in case you want to expand it all, and if you don't, that's cool too. But in terms of risk-aware and safer sex, what do you and your partners do to protect one another?
So I love read Mahako's safer elevator speech, and so when I'm dating someone, second or third date, even if I'm not sure if I'm going to sleep with them or not, I go through the safer elevator speech, and I talk about the things that I do, what I need, what my partners, who I'm dating, all of that. And it's been really interesting. It weeds out people that can't communicate about sex.
Yes.
They've had a couple that were just like horrified. I'm like, we should not see each other again.
Yeah.
And even if we weren't going to go further, like, we had great conversations. Like, what do you like? What don't you like? So I like to set the tone early that I'm going to always practice safer sex and that I'm going to have the conversation. And the thing is, it's safer sex. It's not like we're not wearing plastic draped head to toe.
Yeah.
There's always risks to things, but most of unless you're dealing with something that's antibiotic resistant, most things are quite treatable now. And I choose to connect with people with full knowledge of what is possible, because I think I was raised so afraid of any disease, or like it was so shameful. And once I started, someone shared they were, what is the most common STI? And everyone was chlamydia, gonorrhea, and he's like, no, it's the common cold, and that really normalized it for me. We share that all the time. Like, I don't want to be afraid of touching people to try to stay perfectly safe from things that really are not that shameful, and most are quite treatable now.
Yes. All right. What's the worst mistake you've made in your polyamorous history, and how did you rebound from that?
I think I have dated people that were a really bad fit for me.
Okay.
I tend to be someone, unfortunately, I wish I was sluttier than I am. I'm not super, like, I have to know someone and have a connection to sleep with them. And I admire my friends who can, like, let's sleep together. And like, it's not who I am. And I think I pushed myself early on because I had all these people around me that were just like diving in and having a blast. But my body doesn't relax that way. And I would feel really depleted afterwards because there was not any of that emotional. I don't have to be in love, but I definitely have to have a deep respect and liking for the person.
Okay.
And so I tried to make myself fit in a set that just didn't work for me.
Fair. Well, what self-identities are important to you, and how do you feel like being polyamorous intersects or affects those identities?
Wow, those are great questions.
Thank you.
So I consider myself pansexual, queer. To me, it doesn't matter what your genitals are, or like, to me, it's like, who are you as a person? How do you express yourself? I'm kind of I love really smart people, and I love people that are out there doing something in the world. If you're not doing anything, if you love just watching Seinfeld reruns, you're not a bad person. But I don't want to. I'm not excited about being with you. And I think one of the really cool things about being poly is because I sleep with different genders, I'm not limited. Like, for me, I have a lover who's a female. I've had lovers who are trans. I have lovers who are male, and to me, I get to experience the full breadth of that and hang out with people that I don't know that I would have dated when I was monogamous, because they were really smart in a way that was exciting for part time, but not full time in my life.
I understand.
But I got to dive deep and really enjoy them in the times we do spend together and be stretched in that way, which was very cool.
Nice, nice. All right. Well, do you have any groups, projects, websites, blogs, etc., that you're involved with that you'd like to promote?
Sure, I have the intimacydojo.com, but we have meetups in San Jose, and I coach people internationally with shy, again, shy. I am very shy, so I had to really struggle, and I think if you can help people get to what's core and important to them, they're willing to speak up, especially if you give them skills to do that.
Yeah.
And I do tapping work with thrivingnow.com.
Okay.
So those are the biggest things I work with.
Nice, nice. All right. Well, I really appreciate you taking the time. I know you're super busy, so like it's really valuable that you're able to sit down and spend some time answering questions and like sort of sharing yourself.
Thank you so much. It's a pleasure to connect with you. And like I said, I love that you're normalizing this for people. It's so important, because there's a lot of people that are afraid that could learn a lot from just even being exposed to the skill sets, whether they're monogamous or poly.
Yeah. And thank you so much for saying so. And have a good night.
You too, Kevin.
All right.